Hey guys, welcome back to our third session. We have Jun Hao Tan he's the co-founder and senior vice president, security and platform engineering for Zilliqa. He's going to, share about how can you build on Zilliqa and, start working on your idea. So to all the people who wanted to go ahead, build your DeFi product, it'll be a good thing, to explore how Zilliqa can be helping you out there. Over to you, Jun.
Yep. Yep. Thank you for having me here. So I'm Jun Hao. I'm actually the co-founder and SVP at Zilliqa. So today I'm going to just briefly go through how can you actually bootstrap your ideas with Zilliqa and how to turn them into a reality. So this talk will be a whirlwind talk of what is available in the Zilliqa ecosystem for you to actually take advantage of. So at the core, Zilliqa consists of two main big pieces of technology, and that is the first is of course Zilliqa. This is the public blockchain, and it's the first world public blockchain that is actually built from scratch on the sharding architecture. And we have a second piece of technology that is also very fundamental to the Zilliqa ecosystem, and that is Zilla. Zilla is a safe by design smart contract language system. We design it also from scratch, specifically tailoring it for blockchain like Zilliqa. So on the blockchain aspect, so we are the world first sharded blockchain. Is live in mainnet since almost 1.5 more than 1.5 years ago. It has been running, and we have processed millions of transactions so far. So Zilliqa is actually designed to be a high throughput blockchain. It's able to have a high capacity for you to process a lot of transaction at one go. And also we also have low transaction fees. As you may know, ever since the DeFi hype that started in July, June, and gas has been on the rise. It started from 10 GWay, now it crossed even 500 GWay at some point in time, and now dropped back to about 100 to 150 GWay. And Zilliqa fee itself is quite stable. We are not seeing any congestion because we have a high capacity. And also our gas pricing model is actually very different from the existing Ethereum right now. Our gas pricer was actually developed specifically for Zilliqa, but actually it resembles a lot of it has many similarities like what you will see in EIP 1559. And yeah, as a result of all this innovation, we are able to actually keep our gas price very low. So in Ethereum, let's say today, if you want to do a ERC20 token transfer, let's say at a GWay of 150, you will be expecting paying around $2 USD or $2.5 USD, depending on the type of the specific contracts you are running. And in Zilliqa, you will be roughly around less than 2 cents. So that's actually very cheap, and that's brought to you by all the innovation in the gas pricing model, the high capacity blockchain, and our smart contract language, and we put together, and you got a low transaction fee. On top of that, we have a network that can scale when more nodes is coming in. This is something that you can't see in a legacy blockchain network like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, because in Ethereum, Bitcoin, all the miners are actually fighting with each other, trying to be the one to find the solution to the POW and submit it and be the one that actually get the entire block reward. But in Zilliqa, we are different because we use a PBFT consensus mechanism whereby nodes need to work together with each other to actually come to a consensus, and nodes are more cooperative. They need to basically more cooperative together. They need to cooperate together, and as a result, as more nodes come in, they don't fight against each other, but rather they are able to share the load of the network. Shard that basically we have sharding, and we shard them into different groups, and they are able to process their sets of transactions independently. And that's how we are able to, as more nodes come in, they will form new shards, and they can actually scale together with the network, increasing the throughput of the entire blockchain space. This is something that was not seen before Zilliqa. So Zilliqa was the first one that bring this concept into mainnet. And lastly, we have finality. Again, is thanks to PBFT. We only need one block confirmation, and after that is final. And unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin, whereby there is not really no finality, and you just need to basically wait n numbers of blocks so that you are rest assured that your transaction won't get rolled back. There won't be a reorganization attack like what we see in Bitcoin Cash, whereby transaction are literally rolled back 24 hours ago, and that millions are lost and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is one of our key feature is one block, and about 40 seconds later, that's final. No rollback, no reorg. So on the other side of the stuff, core technology is we have our Zilliqa. Zilliqa is actually a safe by design smart contract languages. It's actually designed from ground out to be a very principled language. It forces the programmer to actually program in a way that actually is safe. So we actually try and prevent certain smart contract vulnerabilities in this aspect. For example, in a we can prevent re-entrancy attacks because of the way Zilliqa enforce the smart contract language and the syntax and stuff like that. And also another interesting cool feature about Zilliqa is that there's actually explicit controls. For example, acceptance of funds. For example, if your smart contract need to accept 0 tokens, you need to actually explicitly specify a keyword called accept, else the smart contract won't accept tokens. So this tiny little feature, although just one keyword itself, it can actually bring save a lot of millions of dollars, because in the DeFi space, we have seen people trying to send their tokens into a smart contract that shouldn't even accept the tokens because they just send it directly, but didn't invoke a certain contract functions. So in the case of Zilliqa, we make it very explicit. If you want to accept 0 tokens, you need to put that one single keyword, and this can really save a lot of money and save a lot of users funds who actually, whereby some of the users may not be that tax savvy actually. And also, the smart contract language is designed in such a way that it's actually analysis friendly. So one of our team member right now is actually developing a formal verification tool, such that you can actually formally verify your smart contract easily. So he's developing something that make it very easy to use. And also our performance of the Zilliqa interpreter is quite reasonable and on par, or in some case actually perform better than EVM. And we have this actually published some of our results previously. So now we have covered the big pieces, which is the blockchain aspect and also the smart contract aspect. Now we move one layer up. So what you can get in the Zilliqa ecosystem, what are the toolchain there for you to actually use it to actually implement your ideas? Because toolchain are the most important stuff for a developer. Without all these toolchain, you can't really do anything. So imagine if today you want to implement a software, you don't have JavaScript, you don't have anything, and you should only write in, let's say, bytecode or write in machine code. That is quite horrible, right? So that's where we think that toolchain is actually very, very essential to the any developers. That's why we develop a series of toolchains available. First, we have our web-based IDE. The IDE allow you to actually write smart contracts, allow you to actually deploy to a simulated environment. And the simulated environment will just, once you deploy it and once you interact, it will just essentially get confirmed immediately so that you get instant feedback. And once you are done with this simulated environment and you want to actually move a step further and start testing in the testnet, our web-based IDE actually allow you to actually deploy smart contract to the testnet and finally to the mainnet. So this is an end-to-end. So you start from small with a simulated environment and you can end up with the mainnet with your smart contract deploy. Next, we have, if you don't want to use a web-based IDE, you can actually use a VS Code extension. We have extension for linting for our Zilliqa language, so that you can use at your comfort. And nowadays, I know a lot of developers like to use VS Code nowadays. So yeah, we have support for that. And of course, we have support for both Vim and Emacs also. And moving, changing a bit is that not only you want to write a smart contract, you need to interact with the smart contract. For example, you want to know is your transaction confirmed, you want to actually send transaction to the network, you want to pull for information for, like, for example, new transaction interacting with your smart contract. That's why we have a series of SDKs, Java, Go, Node.js, and a few others some of them are developed by Zilliqa team, some of them are developed by our community. So we have quite a rich set of SDKs available for you to use. And of course, you need a wallet. And we have actually a lot of wallet out there. We have something similar to MyEther wallet, and that is Zilliqa. It's a web-based. We have also something similar to MetaMask, and in our case, it's a Chrome extension or a Firefox extension, and that's ZooPay. And also, we have the traditional mobile wallet, for example, Trust Wallet, Atomic Wallet. And also, we have ledger support across Moonlet and Zilliqa. And of course, Moonlet is one of our actually, they are very close to us, and we work with Moonlet team very closely, and they are actually developing a mobile wallet that can actually interact with Ledger Nano X, and also they are actually developing their mobile app to actually interact with Zilliqa staking contract. So yeah, more exciting news around all this will be released by the Zilliqa team very soon on the Moonlet team, and also by the Moonlet team. So that's on the wallet side. And lastly, you need to have an explorer to visualize the blockchain. Else, it's very hard for you. You expect user to, you can't expect user to send RPC call to get transaction information and stuff like that. That's where we have explorer like ViewBlock, who has been supporting Zilliqa blockchain since day one. And also recently we developed our own DevX Explorer. And our own DevX Explorer is actually quite a unique one because for ViewBlock, they are targeting at the general consumer, general community. DevX is looking at a very more developer focus, showing more smart contract information. So that is very important for the developers. So that's on the two-chain side. Other than two-chain, right? The other part of that is very important in not only in blockchain space but in any space in the world is actually standardization, because you need a certain standard so that people can build things and compose things together. For example, in the real world, you have all your ISO standard whereby whether can you pass a checklist and stuff like that. In the blockchain world, you have all the ERC20 token standard, ERC 777, and so on. So with by having developers building conforming to a certain standard, you can actually compose application together so that one developer don't need to build the entire ecosystem. They can just build a little component and they are able to interact with the entire ecosystem. So we have two very popular standards. In fact, I think our GRC reference contract, I think is up to 5 or 6 right now, but I highlight the important one, which is the GRC1, which is a non-fungible token. So this allows you to tokenize things like artwork, tokenize things like, let's say, in-game item. Let's say you have a MMORPG game and you want to tokenize certain things onto a blockchain, you can use this NFT token standard. And also, collectibles like, let's say, some blockchain cats, dogs, and other animals and stuff like that. So that's on the non-fungible token standards. We have the other one, which is more like the ERC20, and that's the ZRC2. You can actually create utility tokens, governance token, stable coins. For example, in Zilliqa ecosystem, we have upcoming, we have XHD, and upcoming is actually BUSD. So you can actually launch stablecoin on top of ZRC2 fungible token. So other than this, once you have your tokens, you have all these standards conforming to all these standards, you need a marketplace. And that's where we also have this marketplace provided from the community. And for example, Mintable allow you to actually, tokenize artworks and, like blockchain domains and stuff like that. And also we have ZooSwap, which is launching in 2 days' time on mainnet. And that is for fungible tokens. So this allows you to swap between any tokens and Zoo. So for example, you now in 2 days' time on mainnet, you will be able to swap between XHD and Zoo or any other ZRC compliant tokens. So we can look forward to, let's say, in the future we have our GZIL from our staking contract, or BUSD with our partnership with Binance. All these you can actually find it in Zilliqa. This is something like what we see in the Ethereum world, the Uniswap. And lastly, if you are like doing securities tokens, and that's where you can actually tap onto a partnership we have, which is HG exchange, and this allow you to tokenize private equities and even other type of assets. For example, if you want to tokenize real estate, you want to tokenize gold or any other kind of stuff, you can potentially reach out to HG exchange and look see whether and see whether it's possible to list it in this HG exchange marketplace. And lastly, if you are institution, you need institution need to ensure that their asset is safe, and a lot of times they look for custody, and we have on-chain custody, which is actually supporting both the native Zeus and ZRC token. So they have both cold wallet and warm wallet solution, and they are actually implementing all this technology on top of industry standards, for example like HSM, like multi-sig, so that you can provide institutional grade and at the same time very friendly interface for institutions. So that's on-chain custodian. So I'm covered all the tech parts so far. So from all the way from the core technology all the way down to how do you secure your asset on the blockchain. So the next part I will be covering is actually on our initiative, which is Zilliqa. Zilliqa is one of our most prominent growth initiative launched by us to develop both the DeFi and the OpFi ecosystem in the APAC region within within Asia, India, and so on. So yep. So within Zilliqa, we have actually three major pillars. First, we have the Zilliqa education, focusing on educating the community about blockchain, about Zilliqa platform and Zilliqa ecosystem. Next, we also have the grants program, which actually distribute grants to interesting projects who want to build something interesting on the Zilliqa platform. And lastly, we have every year we will run this Accelerator Program, which actually target the early and the late startup to who want to accelerate their startup. So on the education side, so we really think that awareness is very important to the in the ecosystem, not only in Zilliqa but in the entire blockchain space, because there is not enough people understanding blockchain, and we need more people to understand it, and not going to blockchain blindly, because imagine if someone going to blockchain blindly and doesn't understand anything, you will be going into potentially stepping into a lot of traps, getting scammed, and these are not very healthy. So we want to actually educate the public. So we have a lot of resources, both about Zilliqa, about Sila, and how to write Sila smart contract. We do this via having series release on YouTube, going to conferences, having to have a dev session, going onto webinars, and to talk about all this stuff. So this is one key pillar, that's education for everyone. And also we have very specific training courses. For example, we ran our blockchain developer course for about two rounds already, teaching people how do you build how do you write Sila smart contract, and how do you actually tailor it for your specific use cases. And also we have one for the business, and lastly we have a self-paced one for the as a foundational course for everyone who want to do it at their own time. So next is the Zilliqa grants. We have announced our grants ever since I think in 2017 or 2018, around the time where Zilliqa go live on testnet, and this is quite a big grants we have. Is actually worth USD $5 million, and we offer the total sum is 5 million USD, and we offer 4 different tracks, which is the infrastructure track, the innovation track, the technical research track, and also lastly on the market research track. So anyone who want to actually apply, they can go to one of these track and get some fundings from a few $1,000s to, let's say, probably 10,000 and stuff like that to give them a head start. So our grantees we have really a lot of wave of application. We every couple of months we release a new wave, and today we have funded more than 70 projects across 22 countries, almost on every single continent on earth, I would say. And there are very, very interesting projects that are developed out here. For example, we have Mooned, our mobile wallet, and now we have our ViewBlock, our Explorer. We have Unstoppable Domain, who has become very, very popular in recent days, whereby they built a blockchain domain that cannot be censored, and so on. So yeah. And lastly, we have the Accelerator Program. This is a 6-month program, and it's aimed at startups early or late stage who want to have build a proper business that can sustain and grow in the long run. So through this Accelerator Program, we actually bring in industrial experts, leaders in this space, connect the startup, and try and refine their product, refine their ideas, and and lastly have a demo day whereby they can demo their product to the world, to the potential VCs who may want to further invest in their product. So for the 2021 this round of cohort, there will be a demo day, and there will be in the Singapore FinTech Festival. And we have about I think 8 startups doing it. So we have startups like Mooned, like Comex, like Propine, MarketPay, and so on. And lastly, other than Zilliqa, right? As you can see, Zilliqa grants can potentially award you like up to $10,000 or so, but sometimes as your startup grows, you need more fundings, and you need more really big funding so that you can actually hyper grow your company per se. And that's where we are launching something, and this is still a work in progress, which is the Zilliqa Capital. And Zilliqa Capital is like a venture capitalist, and the goal is to actually be the central investment hub for Zilliqa blockchain ecosystem. So we look at projects, and they are very, very promising, and can help and we try and accelerate the growth of these projects. For example, let's say if there's a project that is very, very promising in the Accelerator Program, they can actually move out one step, graduate from the accelerator, and try and seek funding for, let's say, Zilliqa Capital and potentially other VC and so on. So this is a platform for startups to actually seek really a lot of fundings to grow their project for the long run and make it big and popular and very useful for everyone. So I have reached the end of the presentation. Thanks for listening. So as you can see, to sum up what we have in Zilliqa ecosystem is that first we have our core technology, starting from the blockchain, the smart contract system. We have the tool chains on top of it, like the ID, the SDKs. Then after that, we have token standards for you to actually build products that conform to a certain standard and compose them together with your peers, companies, or in any company on earth. And moving forward, we have the marketplace for you to actually market your product. We have a custody for institution. Finally, next we have Zilliqa initiative education. We have Zilliqa grants, accelerator, and finally the last one we have Zilliqa Capital, which is like a VC fund. Yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah. Let me see whether is there any questions. Okay, so I think what is the difference between Zilliqa sharding and ETH 2.0? I guess the main fundamental difference is Zilliqa is actually doing sharding from ground out, from within from the code itself. So it's starting from day zero, whereas Ethereum is more like retrofitting their sharding on top of their existing blockchain. So on Ethereum, as you can see, they are going in multiple phases. First, they are starting out with a beacon chain. Then after that, they have sharding for normal transactions. Then after that, sharding for smart contract transactions and so on. So you can see that their pipeline is actually a multiple year long project. Whereas for Zilliqa, we took a simple approach and trying to make it we actually have network sharding and transactional sharding from day zero. And these two strategy has been very effective, and it is able to actually scale out our blockchain platform. Yeah.
The second question is, can we interop it with other sidechains which could be developed in Viper or Solidity?
Yes, this is something that is a very, very interesting area for Zilliqa. And in fact, interoperability is something that we are looking at and trying to see which are the chain we can interoperate with. Because as you can see, in the traditional world, you have globalization where people work across boundaries. And at Zilliqa, we also believe in that value whereby different blockchains should actually work together. Be it, let's say, with smart contract on Ethereum written in both Viper or Solidity or in other chains and so on. So we are actually looking at solution trying to address these issues, try and work together with a few multiple chains.
All right. That's all the questions that we have. Okay. All right. So, guys, I'm bringing in Arnav here. He has a very interesting announcements for all the attendees that are here. So, bringing in. All right. Yes, Arnav. Please share the announcement with them.
Hello guys. Great to be back. Thank you, Jun Hao, for your talk. So just a small announcement. We have so as Jun Hao had already mentioned, we have a couple of grant programs, and you can get involved with the community. So you can join our developer groups. I've shared the link in the chat. I'll do so again. And also for people who are joining the developer groups, you can also join Zeev's Telegram bot, which is which has more than, I think, 30,000 users right now. You can play games and take part in quizzes and earn Zil. Specifically for people in this conference who join using the link, they'll get 5 Zil, and also they need to join the developer group. So that's the announcement. That's the incentive for people who are joining the conference. And hope to see you in our developer groups, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.
All right. Jun, do you have a final question for you? Is JS language for smart contracting preferred or Zilliqa by most of the developers in Zil ecosystem?
You mean JavaScript?
Yes.
I see. So in our smart contract language, actually, we don't use JavaScript per se. We actually use we have our own language system. And right now it's an intermediate language, and it's called Zilla. Zilla is more towards a functional programming kind of syntax, like OCaml. So yeah, right now we don't have something that you can write in JavaScript and run within Zilliqa. But we do have JavaScript SDKs for you to interact with the blockchain. For example, if you want to send transactions, you want to get blockchain information, we do have JS support. But it's just on the smart contract. If you want to write a smart contract, you still need to use our own smart contract language called Zilla.
All right. Thank you, Jun. Anyone else has any questions? Okay. Thank you. We'll now be moving on to our final session. Thank you, Jun, for such interesting insight about how can one start developing and bootstrapping with Zilliqa. Thank you.
Thank you.